Maverick Physical Therapy. Welcome to another little episode on TZ1B and C of the pitching mechanics using closed kinetic chain-like principles. We talked in those episodes on the assessment and treatment of those a little bit, but I wanted to share with you some great successes I've had in sharing with other individuals that have taken this stuff and made it their own and have had very successful livelihoods incorporating this into their pregame and their daily kind of preparations. We've talked a lot about the closed kinetic chain-like principles and how it provides this proximal stability for distal mobility, like this funnel called this tornado that you'd see on the Discovery Channel, or that you would pick up and see, or that you remember from watching Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz back in the day. And so something very simple that we use on walls and railings in baseball stadiums, you can use on a tree, you can use on a wall, anything that provides you some stability and support that's going to feed into the hip, thoracic spine, the chain, to give us this chain reaction throughout the kinetic chain. So I'm going to show you a couple different perspectives here and positions on it, so you can kind of get a glimpse. We're going to look at TZ1B first. TZ1B, if you remember, so slide, step, wind up, we get in this position where this upper extremity is still this great kind of this top-down driver throughout over to the throwing shoulder and throwing hip. TZ1B to a TZ1C right here. So I'm going to take you through those positions from two different angles and some very secretive sauce, ninja sauce, that I love to use to get my hands in for some functional manual therapy. And then right away, man, it's assessment, it's treatment. They can take it home and start getting after it, or take it to the field and start getting after it, and instantaneously will feel a notable difference throughout the hips and the thoracic spine. Guys, we're barking up the wrong tree again when we're looking at the elbow and the shoulder in this day and age of multiple pathological things that can be created right there. We're barking up the wrong tree when we're talking about pitch counts and innings and this sort of stuff. Not by any means, not at all that we should neglect that and limit innings or limit the amount of pitches that kids throw. You as an athlete, however old you are, you need to, and you're an athlete for a reason, you should be playing and be good at moving in a skill set that requires and would enable you to play multiple sports. So what I want you to do right here in the TZ1B and a TZ1C, so I'm using, so you're like, well, what the heck, why do you freaking have your hand on this pole out in the middle of your backyard? Well, I've got some neighbors that are probably finding that a valid question as well, and they might have this on YouTube also. So that's always fun and interesting. They're always like, Crazy Mark, he's back at it again, talking to himself out in the backyard. You got it. So we use this to drive motion throughout the rest of the chain. So if I position myself in TZ1B right here, I can take this left upper extremity and I can literally drive motion throughout my thoracic spine and hip that I wouldn't be able to create or give to myself on my own if I didn't have that. And if I didn't have the hands of a good functional manual therapist or reactionist and one good in applied functional science, I would want something to be able to give myself a good gift in that. So basically use some progressive oscillations right here in TZ1B. TZ1B, and again, I'll show you the angle of that so you can see it in another perspective in a second. TZ1C, I'm still loading, but getting closer to unloading this towards home plate. And I'm still using this as an anchor as I oscillate and drive my weight forward. Since I'm anchored here, it's driving motion throughout my thoracic spine, my scapulothoracic joint, and keeping me loaded so that I can uncoil from the bottom up first so that I can further load things. Again, if you go back to those previous episodes, some big issues that we have is some early release from segments, meaning the hip and the shoulder, things trying to do too much before it's their job and not being able to get loaded, hence lots of pathologies. It's not the shoulder and the elbow's fault, people. We need to start thinking differently. So a little TZ1C. If I wanted to show you that from another perspective, right here, I'll try my best with what I have. So a little TZ1B right here. And I get a great thoracic spine, great C-spine lobe with that too. We've also talked about hooking the hip up to tubing, getting a good hip joint distraction, and now TZ1C. I've often seen a lot of things like just chewy, some facet, kind of like syndrome in the L spine too, which we'll get if the upper extremity of the trunk don't have the mobility they should. Therefore, even though that thing should be loading on up and gapping on that right side, they're not. They're compressing, and boom, the pelvis is flying forward, the arm is flying forward. It's a nasty mess. Wall-wise, take things to another level. TZ1B. I'm going to position myself in TZ1B. I'm going to add a little reach to it, and then a little row. So I'm going to add a little reach here, and then as I row, my hips are shifting forward. So I'm adding a little reach. So when I say a little reach, I'll maybe reach like waist high, and then I'll oscillate, and my hips will give me that lateral kind of translation of the pelvis, and this anterior translation of the pelvis, which is taking advantage of giving me some more internal rotation of that right hip with some good abduction and extension. And then I can add some progressive oscillations. So what that'll look like here, TZ1B. Little progressive oscillation. TZ1C. It's that pivotal point as to what's happening at the hip, and that further squeezing of the orange to give us more juice throughout the trunk to let the arm just take off and let it go, man. So TZ1C. So a little shift here with my reach. And so more than anything, this is pretty aggressive mobility related stuff. Start off with a short stance and go into it slowly. Trust me on that. If you're going into it with a lot of compensation and as good as you think you are, you're going to have crap going on. Don't do it. TZ1C, the backside. So I've gone from here to here. So I'll go with a little reach. Give me the opposite motion so I can get more motion. Boom. 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 That left upper extremity, aka the glove side arm, is a phenomenal assister and loader to enable us to uncoil. Before we head into TZ2, an episode on that, we're going to be taking a look at what will happen between TZ1C and TZ2. Pretty cool. I think you guys will dig it. We've got some fun stuff coming up. TZ1B, TZ1C, TZ1A. Great opportunity for us to get bones moving in similar directions so that we can form separation, so that we can come together and have more strength integratedly. Have fun playing with those.